It's something we've talked about a lot over the last couple of years. But if you saw the article last week from Adam Stern, where he wrote that FedEx was going to even further reduce their sponsorship of Denny Hamlin and maybe reduce it altogether. Now that was the article. I think it was last Wednesday, Thursday, whenever it was, Friday. But then I watched Denny Hamlin's media availability, and he was asked about it, and it did seem like FedEx was going to stay on in some capacity, at least for 2025, based on Denny Hamlin's comments. But let's say they reduce the number of races as the primary sponsor, whatever. I mean, don't you think, to me, as coming into the sport as a casual NASCAR fan, I know we've discussed this, but I mean, that's big. The fact that race in, race out, you can't really tell who the car is, right? By the paint scheme. And I think that's what made your guys' era iconic. Go 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s. You just knew the cars. And I do think that's something NASCAR needs to figure out from a marketing standpoint. The colors, the color schemes, it really helps if you can have that primary sponsor for most of the races.
There's no doubt. I mean, and I find myself, Charlie, watching the races and trying to pick out the driver. I'm trying to figure out who the hell that is running seventh that just made 2 passes, right, and got into fifth. And you're watching the camera. If you're there at the racetrack, you're watching it. But if you're on TV, you're watching whatever the camera's showing you. So you've got to see what they're showing you, or you've got to watch what they're showing you. So you'll see a group of cars, and you're like, all right, and I'm looking at the screen trying to figure out who that car is in seventh. I just saw this particular car make some kind of move, and it made me interested. And I looked, and I'm trying to figure out the number, and I'm trying to figure out who it is, and I'm looking back down, and I'm like trying to follow the car, and I have no idea who the hell I'm looking at, right? Because each week it changes, and it didn't used to be that way. I mean, Charlie, when you look at the race, you would see the black 3, all right? You see that black 2. You see that black and gold number 1. You knew who it was. I mean, because the paint scheme stayed the same all year, and it just made it interesting, or made it neat to be able to follow them. And I'm telling you, as you know, I'm a student of the sport, Charlie, and I can't figure it out. I'm sitting there watching the race, and I'm trying to follow a driver, and he gets lost in the maze of colors that are never the same each week. You don't know who's who and what's what. But, I don't know what they do about that. I mean, NASCAR, I don't know how they would dictate. Here's a color scheme. You got to have this color scheme, start this color scheme in Daytona, and you got to keep it all year. I don't know whether they can do something like that, or they can't do that. And then the price of what it costs to run these cars for a season, right? And you're trying to keep one sponsor. It's hard to do that now because the price is so much more. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what you do about that, but it is a hit. It does take away from what we've got, or what we're doing, what we're trying to do. There's no doubt about that. And it's just, I don't know. It just makes it tougher. It makes it a lot tougher. I don't know what we do to fix it, though.